Cinnamon buns are probably my favorite ever baked good. So today I'm going to show you how to make that lovely cinnamon bun that is so nice and juicy and just the best thing ever. Cinnamon buns or cinnamon swirls or cinnamon scrolls, whatever you might call them, I just can't get over how good they are. So we're going to start by making these with some milk and some yeast. You know the spiel by now, right? We make a yeasted dough, we're always putting in our yeast and our milk or our water first, warm it up. And we're also going to add in our sugar straight away because we want that nice sugar to feed off the yeast bacteria and create a lovely atmosphere to make that dough grow and get extra fluffy, super tasty cinnamon buns. Next, we're going to add in our flour. I'm going to go with strong white bread flour, but you could, in this case, also go with a plain flour. Depends how fluffy and cakey you like your cinnamon buns. Some butter, go for egg. I always use large eggs, so just make sure it's a nice large egg. And a little bit of salt, which really complements the texture of a cinnamon bun. And we're going to knead this, and I'll see you once that's kneaded and show you what we do next. Time to show and tell. So that is what it looks like now. And it's been kneading for about 2 minutes, and we're going to go in for probably about 1.5 to 2 hours, resting the dough until it's doubled in size. And then I'm going to show you how to roll it out and make that typical cinnamon scroll shape. While our dough is resting nicely and rising up and getting really nice and fluffy, we're going to make the filling for our cinnamon buns. And I'm just going to start by softening our butter. So just chuck it all in. I'm going to soften it until it's really nice and creamy, and then we're going to add in all of the other ingredients. Let's go. I just want to show you what that looks like when it's done. The butter should be really nice and creamy. This is a great way to bring any type of fridge butter to room temperature. You just need to whack it on speed 5 for as long as you need until it's nice and creamy. And now we're going to add in our other ingredients. Get some nice sugar. I use a mixture of brown and white sugar just to get some extra crunchy texture, and obviously some cinnamon. The more the merrier for me. Then we're going to also add in a tiny bit of cornflour just to get the right texture. And then we mix it, and then we can roll out our dough. It's all mixed up and our lovely filling is ready. So that is what it looks like. Our dough has risen and it's really nice and quite big actually. We're going to pop it onto this surface. I'm just going to pop it on a flat surface, and then I'm going to roll it out nice and not too thin. I'm going to start by just doing this with my hands. Make sure it doesn't actually stick, really important. And then you're going to take your rolling pin and then you just roll out until you have a rectangle. And that rectangle should probably be around 30 by 40 centimeters roughly. Don't worry, don't sweat it if it's not perfect. Always make sure that your dough doesn't actually stick to the surface, so lift it up quite regularly just to check and make sure it doesn't stick. So I'm pretty happy with how it looks now. That's the filling. I'm just going to get messy, because what I tend to do is I just sort of spread over little bits of this nice buttery, cinnamony goodness, and then I'm going to take my dough scraper in a minute and spread it all over the place. Now I'm just going to take my scraper, and as you can see I'm just scraping that nice filling gently all over the place. I'm just going to start by rolling one side up. You start with the long end and you always sort of tuck it under like that. And whenever you then roll, you do a roll, but you sort of pull it back and then you roll, pull it back and roll. So you create a nice tight cinnamon bun. Once we've rolled it up, we're just going to roll it back and forth slightly, just so that you've created a nice seam on the bottom, and the seam, that's the seam, should always stick to the bottom. Before I cut it all up, I'm just going to prepare myself a tray, and I've just lined it with some non-stick paper. Don't worry, you can get that via the link below on my shop. And we're going to take a nice sharp knife, and we're going to make some indentations in the center, 1/3, 1/3 here, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's the best way to make sure you have perfectly even cinnamon buns. Now you're going to take your buns and you're just going to place them, depending on how you like them. You can put them quite close together if you want them to touch, or quite far apart if you like it a little bit more crunchy. Into your prepared tray and just press them down slightly so that you can get a proper nice round cinnamon bun shape. And now we're just going to cover these up. They look absolutely stunning already, but they need to do some growing up. So I'm going to cover them with a nice tea towel, and I'm going to leave them on a nice warm spot for another hour or two, and then I'm going to bake them. We are ready to bake my lovely cinnamon buns, or scrolls, or whatever you want to call them, but I can barely wait because they smell amazing. They've risen really nicely, and I'm just going to give them about 15 to 20 minutes in the oven. Off we go. While our cinnamon buns are baking, I'm just going to show you how to make the glaze. And there are lots of different types of glazes you could make. You could make a cream cheese glaze, or just a normal icing sugar, milk-based glaze, but I like to make it a little bit more fun. So I have here some icing sugar, and I'm going to pour in some lemon juice of 1 lemon, and I'm going to put it all together and pour it right in. And then I'm just going to stir it, and if I'm missing any more liquid, just keep going with a tiny bit of water, because you just want a tiny bit of lemony goodness, and that's really going to make these so tasty. Okay, so I've been waiting for this moment for quite a long time today, and I'm really into it. So cinnamon buns are done, and of course they look absolutely fantastic, but there's just one more thing that I like to do to my freshly baked cinnamon buns, and that is get the goody stuff going. So let's just drizzle over really nicely some awesome icing. Look at that. That's what all makes it worthwhile, doesn't it? And you all know what time it is now, isn't it? It's cinnamon bun o'clock. So I'm gonna tuck in. They're still hot. I don't care. I'm not waiting any longer. Okay, that is what I call a pretty good cinnamon bun. And I'm just gonna tuck in. See how soft that is and chewy and perfect? That is what a cinnamon bun should look like. Really yummy, really awesome. And I've taken it straight from the oven and essentially burning my hands as we speak. That is how perfect the cinnamon bun is. So you go and make those, and I'm gonna eat mine, and I'll see you next time. So please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel.